Boom! We're live. We're live, boys. We're live. We're live. Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing today? Let us know in the chat. Actually, I'll probably have to increase the desktop audio. Hello, everyone. सब लोग कुछ बात
Are
करो.
we
Test the audio.
are we audible?
Hello.
Just
Audio
write
check.
it down on the chat and just let us know.
Just
Yeah,
had a
just let us know who all are there.
say hi in the chat. Let us know if there are any audio issues. There shouldn't be any audio issues.
Yes, ideally no.
Or video issues.
Screen glitch हो रहा है थोड़ा.
नहीं मेरे इस पे अच्छा दिख रहा है फोन पे.
नहीं लाइव पे वो गोइंग लाइव सून वाले टैब पे चला जा रहा है.
अरे
क्या?
नहीं सही है.
नहीं दिख रहा है.
सब परफेक्ट चल रहा है.
हाँ.
Everyone, please say hi in the chat. Let us know you're here so that we know you're here, and tell us if our audio sounds okay, our video looks all right. If not, we can try things. Hi, Dhruv and gang. All the best. Thank you, Anand sir. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, let us know in chat if the audio sounds okay, video looks good. If you've just joined, Ganguly, you want to do
Let
the
us
honors?
first get a feedback if we are sounding well.
Yeah.
No, we're sounding good, I think. Right.
Okay, so should we start with?
Yeah, I guess let us begin with the
Let's
formal
start
intro.
with the intro.
Okay. So let us. So we'll start with the intro. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Thank you for coming, first of all. And today, as you all know, today is our vlogcast 3. So in today's vlogcast, we would be discussing about our band member number 1, and that is Dhruv Kulkarni. So thank you all for coming once again, and let's start with the vlogcast. Let's begin.
Yeah. Okay,
Ooh,
let's start with
our first thing that we always do. Current projects, right?
Current projects. Saurav's screen is hazy
What's
due
on
to
the
the
table?
light direction.
Yeah.
Dosi,
What do I do now?
change the lights, go outside,
Wait. Yeah.
disconnect.
Try and adjust.
Hello, Neptronius. What's up?
Neptronius is back.
So, current projects. Okay, let's see. Well, we released a video this week. We released a cover of Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. One of the best songs I know by Fleetwood Mac. And we really had fun covering this song. It was after a while, after a long time, that all four of us were part of a project. It was fun to record, and you can check out the video on YouTube. It's available. It's like a small song, but it was super fun. Atharva had a short cameo in between the song, but it was still awesome to have everyone involved in the project. Um, but yeah, that's what we did this week. Next week,
Yes.
next week is going to be a little special.
Yes.
Next week is going to be our first Hindi song on our channel.
Is it first?
Well, first official cover, I would say. I think we have Mitwa on our channel.
Yeah, we have.
But that's like live.
I think that is around that cover that we posted. Not actually, it's not a cover. It's a live video that we posted.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to 2013,
Yeah,
if I'm not wrong.
seven
yes.
7 years, 7 freaking years.
7 years, 7 years.
Crazy. But yeah, after 7 years, we're doing another Hindi song. Well, we listen to a lot of Hindi songs, but um,
Yeah, we have done quite a few on the live, like as live, but not on YouTube. But yeah, this one is a real special one. Uh, and it's an all-time favorite. Like most of you
yeah,
might be
should we tell the
already
movie
rapping
that it's
song.
from?
Let's do
It is
that.
from an iconic movie where
Where
friends,
friends go.
where best friends go to Spain just to enjoy their bachelor trip.
Yeah, it's from
It's
Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. Um, yeah,
it's a pretty
one of our
pretty
favorite
good
movies,
song.
and I mean, who better than to cover a Shankar Ehsaan Loy song? You know, it's incredible musicians, and I mean, we feel honored to be able to try something of that stature. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's a cover that's coming up next week. But the week after that is going to be like I don't
Something
even
very very
like if there I don't even know if there's a
close
scale
to
that
us.
can measure.
Something very
Think
special. Something that
okay.
hasn't been done yet.
Yeah.
Something that we have been working into for years now,
Yes. Literally
If
yes.
and
you, if you
something
guys have
that
been
has
following
been
our
executed
Instagram,
perfectly well.
yeah, if you guys
Yeah.
have been following our Instagram page, you might have got a glimpse of what is coming. You must
Yes.
have recently saw Abhinav's post in which he was recording, and that
Okay, let's
awesome
not give
caption.
let's not
Yeah,
give away more than that.
yeah,
Let's just keep it simple. It's the biggest thing that we have done.
To sum it
It's
up,
the
I would say
biggest
this is
thing.
something from us to the world, if I'm not
Yes.
wrong.
It's our
Yeah.
Literally.
it's our biggest project until now. Uh, just just
Yeah.
throwing it out there. It's our biggest project,
Yeah.
and we've had fun doing it. Everything is ready. Everything is ready. We're just waiting for those 2 weeks. This is like the worst time. You just have to wait for these 2 weeks.
Yep.
Um, but it'll be worth it. 100%. It will 100% be worth it.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, and we're looking at the chats. Yeah. Yeah, from next time we'll see if we can have some background music.
yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a good idea. We have a lot of technical issues, so right now we have solved one huge technical issue that was there.
Yeah.
That is these screens moving around. So yeah, we're getting better. This is our third vlog. Second time we're live streaming it. So yeah, give us suggestions like that. We'll work on them. Yeah, let's move
Let's
on.
begin with the actual part of the vlogcast. So
Yes.
today's vlogcast is about Dhruv. So I would like Dhruv if he could introduce himself and also tell us his story.
So yeah, today is Dhruv's episode. So all
Today's
things
Dhruv's
Dhruv.
episode.
And just a sort of a pre-thing, ask him any questions. I think he'd like to get embarrassed today. And
Ask
yeah,
us awkward questions.
waiting badly. All right, let's get started. So, well, how did Simplicity start? So, Dhruv is the person who has actually initiated the band, and I think he'll give us a better idea what he was thinking about before and why did he wanted to start a band in the first place. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
To
all to
answer
you.
Ganguly's question, my name is Dhruva Kulkarni. I am from Thane, Maharashtra, India. I currently live in the US. I'm studying here. Um, Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know. But um, my degree finishes next year. Hope I am thinking of a master's. Um, but that's what I'm doing right now. But I've been doing music pretty much all my life. And to answer Athava's question, um, back in 2013, when uh, most of us were in ninth grade and Ganguly was in eighth grade. I was actually, even before that, when I was in eighth grade, I was like a super hardcore Linkin Park fan and all that, like old school rock music, um, and I was like, dude, we need to have something like this here. Why don't we have something like this here? I just thought popped into my head, why not try something new, um, before that I have been um, even now I have been studying Indian classical music uh, all my life, uh, since like my early childhood, um, and I was like, maybe we can give this a shot, because that was like not really in my comfort zone. Hadn't really tried singing English songs or Western music in any way, but I, I thought maybe try to go out of my comfort zone, try something new, And I talked with Ganguly because I knew him through one of my other friends, Niranjan, um, and I talked with him. He used to play acoustic guitar. I mean, he still plays acoustic guitar, uh, but that was pretty new to me back then. Uh, so I talked with him. He was super interested, and I was like, "Yeah, let's jam." And then we had one of our other friends. He was in our class. He was like a rapper of some sort. Um, that wasn't very that was pretty short lived, I would say. And in ninth grade, it was again just Ganguly and me, and Atharva and I met in one of our coaching classes that we used to go. Shout out to VC Vijaya classes. Um, if you know what VC is, drop it in the chat. Uh, so we met in VC. He used to sit behind me, and I was. This is actually like, I don't know why this whole thing came about. I guess it was like written in the stars or something. But I was like sitting on my bench and I was bored in the lecture. I was just drawing like guitars and stuff in the back of my notebook, and he saw it from behind and he was like, "Oh, do you play music and stuff?" And then we got to talking, and I asked him, "Oh, we're looking for like a guitarist." Um, so he was like, I play the keyboard, but I mean, I can try playing the guitar. He used to play acoustic guitar, like very minimally. Atharva, your video is not there. Oh, okay, it's back. Yeah, so he used to play the keyboard mainly and like acoustic guitar, very minimal sort of. And I was like, yeah, let's just jam, let's just see what happens. Um, and I was the same day evening we jammed for like 3 hours or something, and we got introduced to like Led Zeppelin, uh, all those like hardcore sort of rock and roll favorites, Beatles, all those bands, and then we really got knee deep into Western music, and so that's how the band came about. Then me, Abhinav, and Atharva started playing music together in like school cultural performances, shows in school, annual programs, um, and we got pretty well known in our little locality. Uh, and starting after like 10th grade, we branched out a little bit. In 11th grade, I met Dosi in another coaching class. It's, I don't know, it's kind of a theme, like meeting people in coaching classes. uh, but yeah, shout out to Vidyalankar. If you know what Vidyalankar is, drop it in the chat. um, but that's how we met Dosi, and that's how the whole band thing came about. We'll answer some questions from the chat. How did you get introduced to rock music amidst classical music ambience at home? And what, I think you're saying, what did you like about rock lyrics, music, or the zing? That's a good question. I've never like actually thought about that. um I just thought it was cool. I just thought it looked cool, it sounded cool. Being a rock star was always like a every little boy's fantasy, um I, I just found it cool, and the more I got into it, the more I found out about it. And now I'm branching out into different genres as well. So I if there's anything that I've learned in all these years, is it's how to be open minded about different genres. We'll answer
That is a pretty
questions like in the middle as the conversation proceeds. But yeah, you guys go ahead.
Yeah,
so I
that's how
would
things started.
yeah, that is basically how we started. Like everyone has their own journey about simplicity. Everyone's journey might be a bit different from one another, but every journey I think
It's
is
unique.
a very sweet
Unique.
journey in their own. Secondly, let us ask what style of music does Dhruv play? What his music styles are, and secondly, also the skill set that he brings into the band.
Hmm.
So, or as a musician,
Um. Yeah. So I think are you asking like what are my favorite styles of music or like
what styles? I'm asking what are the music styles you are into? Like, what
acha
are the
okay.
music styles that you feel that yeah, this is the kind of music I want to play. Like
Influenced
for
by.
example,
I
Atharva
think
had
so.
Green Day.
That's an interesting topic because I don't think that's like ever static. I think that's like a dynamic process where you play what you're influenced by, and your influences change throughout your life. So right now in my current state, jazz and funk is like really I'm like very deep into it now. So that's what I'm into right now. But again, that could change later, and I'm open to the fact that it could
Right.
change later because back like 3 or 4 years ago, I used to listen to Coldplay like crazy, and now, I mean, I still like Coldplay, but I usually don't like voluntarily go to Apple Music and search Coldplay. That rarely does that ever happen. So
Yeah.
Right. So basically, you have like this dynamic sense of music. Like you like to listen what you listen. Like if you like it, then you start digging deeper. If I'm not wrong, right?
and I think yeah, that's a key to grow as a musician in general because
Right.
there's a reason why there are so many different styles of music. It's otherwise, if everyone was static with what they liked, then music would have never grown to the extent it has. Uh, so I think it's important to be open minded about it.
That is a pretty fair answer, I would say.
You don't have to say it like
This
that.
Ganga is like evaluating my answers.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just writing it down. I'm counting the scores right now.
Yeah. I think it's interesting, right? Like how the things have unfolded. Like what do you think, like as a lead singer, as a sort of, they call person who leads the thing like a front man. How has your experience been as the front man of the Simplicity?
It's been it's been special to say the least. And I mean, I don't know. I have never really like thought of myself as like the front man or like the lead part as such because I mean, we as a band are very collaborative and constructive about what we do. So I've never thought about like leading anything as such. It's usually like me taking a back seat and yeah, you guys do your thing. Um, I mean that's one way of leading, I guess. But yeah, I've never thought of myself as that role. Maybe it's like an assumed role. I don't know, but it's been interesting. It's been interesting because um, just visually uh, you are like in front of the band, so uh, you're sort of representing the image of the band. So it's like a responsibility sort of, and it's a responsibility for everyone equally. Um, but yeah, I've never thought of myself as that though.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, let's move it ahead, I guess. So, well, we have gone through this Simplicity story
Yeah, you guys also say what you think about
in our
what I'm
in
saying.
our.
So
Oh yeah, I mean that's
Yeah, that is. I think
I don't
it
want
is
to. I
pretty
don't want to
much
talk for like six hours.
well
6
said.
hours.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I also agree with Dhruv that all of us we we are a band as we are firstly a group, we perform as a band. There is nothing like, we believe that there is nothing called as someone who plays lead or someone who is on something else. The basic synchronization that happens between all of us is only because of the fact that we think the whole band comes together and we play one music together. So that is why we think we are the way we are, I guess.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I would also like to add, like,
Yeah, yeah.
being a like frontman, like taking that role. Maybe it's not like he is not a leader as such in a way, but indirectly, he take the initiatives and
Can you repeat
like
that? That just
start
cut out.
working. And
That just cut out. Can you
that's
repeat that?
no, I was saying that like he always likes to initiate things and initiate projects, and you know, like
Yeah, like
simplicity was stagnant for quite a lot years, maybe I would say, and now it has like kind of becoming active more these days. So yeah, like most of the credit, like of taking initiatives, I guess I would like to give it to Dhruv.
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I
So
mean it's always there, like as a as being at the other side of the spectrum. So there's music, there's the creators, there are the musicians,
right.
and there the audience. um we as such, we know what the music is and what goes into it and what are the various elements of it, but it's
Right.
like being sort of the thing that people say, like, singer, he's the, like, the front man, he's the thing that people see. And it's sort of like, at least towards the audience side, more naturally, being more pressure sort of goes um, on the person that is seen more. I'm not saying that he's responsible more, but he's seen more by the audience. That added pressure was really, like, I mean, if you feel about it, like, if you think about it, it's very easy to think, "Ki, okay, it's just the same thing as we are in the studio. He's singing, he's playing his instrument, but it's not as simple as that, right? Because once you move on the stage, uh, there are these discrepancies. People see you more. People are, like, you address the people more, and stuff like that happens. And yeah, as far as my experience goes, taking the stage alone, or leading the stage in that sense, or leading the audience, addressing the audience, that's a huge role that Dhruv has played. And it's not easy to just take the stage and just play an instrument.
Right.
It's not as simple as that, as just performing something. And I think that's one element of live music that you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So also that
interesting insights there.
he also sings, and simultaneously he also
Plays an
plays his
instrument.
part in the piano. So
Yeah.
what that effectively means is that he is at one single time playing two instruments. One is that his vocals, and secondly the piano. So it is a pretty difficult job in itself to have both of them being playing together and playing it well on the beat and not losing the song while playing. All those things, they also matter, and I think Dhruv handles it pretty well,
Yeah.
because the other three, me, Atharva, and Saurav, most of the part we just play one instrument, and that is the guitars or the bass. But all the time, every single time when Dhruv plays, he sings, which is one instrument, and also that he plays an instrument with singing,
Yeah.
that possibly might be a guitar or a piano or a
Fair
synth.
point. Fair
So yeah,
point.
I think, yeah, hi, say Saj is back.
Oh, hi.
So he's demanding Atharva to say hi to her.
Hi. It's great to see you all again. I
Yeah,
That's
it's good to
great.
see people who regularly attend these live streams.
Thank you, Saj, for coming back, for saying hi to all of us, especially to Atharva. And
We've got some questions.
okay,
You guys
we
want to select a
yeah,
I've
we
question?
got
we've
some
got some
question.
questions.
This one's
One question,
interesting.
yeah, one
Yeah.
question is, what is the bond that keeps all the Simplicity members together? I would want, because this is Dhruv's night, so let him answer. Just
Yeah.
What
Let
is
him
the
the way.
let him lead the way.
Yeah.
literally and symbolically? What is the bond that keeps all Simplicity members together? Interesting. Um, Well, first is music, obviously. We have a collective interest to create music, create quality stuff. That's the first part. The second part is we're friends. We hang out anyway. Uh, so might as well do something productive with the time. Uh, so yeah, I mean, it's not really a problem for us to stay together. That's just been pretty organic. Um, GG, nice.
Oh,
Namaste,
Okay,
Parth.
so Parth has come.
But yeah, that's what keeps us together. What motivates you for this newer musical challenges? I don't know. Like, I usually don't think about um how it will be received. I mean, it sounds cliche, but I genuinely don't think about that kind of stuff. Like, even with the Skype collaboration video, like, it was so impromptu. I just one evening out of nowhere, I was like, maybe you should do something on the Skype call tune. I downloaded the Skype call tune, put it in GarageBand, and I started adding layers on top of that. I felt like, oh, this is turning out quite nice. And I had no intention of making like a Skype collaboration or like a collaboration effort even. Uh, but uh,
Okay,
that's a
that's a
good
good
question. We'll
question.
answer that question. But yeah, so I had no intention of doing like a collaboration video on that. I was just recording. I was just fleshing out the music, just recording the whole thing, and I was like, this sounds cool. Maybe we should do something together because of the whole quarantine theme. Like everyone's alone, everyone's feeling lonely, everyone's sad now. Um, might as well bring people together, bring some positivity. I mean, that's what the thing is. Like, I just start things, just go with the flow. It sounds super cliche, but that's really what it is.
Right.
yeah.
So another question from Rohan. Rohan is asking, what do we feel about the fusion of Indian classical and Western music? So personally, I think
Hmm.
we haven't tried
Yeah,
our
I
luck
mean, see,
with fusion music
I
yet.
think let's just I think that'll be a sort of an overlaying question anyways, and it's going to come. Being experienced from a classical sort of background and moving towards this Western thing. So what are your thoughts on that? Let's just get it
Yeah,
done
I
with,
mean,
I guess.
the first thing is, like, I haven't moved from Indian to Western. I still do Indian classical music.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I've branched out, I would say. I've tried to explore more.
Diversified,
Yeah,
yes.
I've tried to explore other forms of music. I've been exploring jazz, funk, blues, Americana, folk music, American cultural sort of music. I've been exploring that as well. So, uh, the I've had a like I have been formally trained in Indian classical music, and I still learn Indian classical music from my guru back in India, and that's something that I intend on keeping doing for the rest of my life, because that's my roots, and I love doing that too. I have a deep rooted love for Indian classical music, and that's not going anywhere. But that's not to say that I don't like other forms of music. It's like, it's like you can like multiple things, right? You don't have to get bound to one thing, and that's like, I've heard that from a lot of people. That oh, if you do Indian music, you can't do Western music, or if you do Western music, then how can you do Indian music? And like, why do you restrict yourself with those barriers that, like, the other people tell you, like, you can do what you are best at, and I'm still trying to find what I'm good at, and that's, I again, like I said, that's like a dynamic experience. So I'm pretty open to whatever comes my way, and I do this because I like doing this. It's not like I want to move away from Indian classical, or I want to move away from Western classical, or it's not about that. It's just what I like doing, and what we as a group like doing as well.
Right.
Yeah,
I
it
think
Also,
that's
anyway
it.
to
adds to the skill
yeah.
set
Okay.
or knowledge of music that you gain anyway. Like it's
Hmm.
not a loss in any way. Yeah, if you
Knowledge, yeah.
learn new genres of music, it's always a gain as
Yeah.
well.
And also to second that, I think at the end of the day, music is still music. If you like, you might be a professional Indian classical singer, but still, if you try your hands on Western music, or for that matter, any kind of music, I think you will get it right because you have your roots uh, well uh, dug deep into the ground. I think that is why you'll be very good with all the music forms. And I don't think it is a bad idea to try your hand on different kinds of music. It just helps
Yeah.
you increase the knowledge base that you already have.
I I don't want to get like super philosophical or make it like a TED talk, but to be completely honest, like a couple of years ago, I was very purist about Indian classical music, and like I used to think of Indian classical music as like on a pedestal, or like it's like the greatest thing in the entire world. And I, on some level, I still feel that, but as a musician, you can't be a purist. You can't say that one form of music is better than the other. uh, it's
Right.
a form of music takes years, generations, centuries to develop, and for you to diminish something of that stature into okay, this is not, I don't like this, so it's not good. That's, I don't think that's fair to anyone. And I hear this a lot, like even with pop music, like there's some serious hatred associated with pop music, that oh, that's just four chords, it's just like one or two chords and they just keep looping the same thing, it's all electronics, nothing is acoustic. But the thing is, if people like it, people like it. You can't put a label on things and say that oh, all pop music is bad. That's it. As a musician, you can't be a purist. That's just what I've learned in the past couple of years, I would say.
Yeah. That's been an informative section. I think
Sarthak and I think Parth is we
Sarthak,
haven't been
well,
paid
yeah.
for shooting videos.
you'll get
I
you'll
think
get
it's
royalties
a-
when we earn money.
it's a good time to give them a shout out, right?
Yes,
These
Yeah,
Sarthak
guys-
Parth has shot a lot of our videos
Yeah.
that we have put on YouTube.
Especially Love on
the
the
We Don't Talk
Weekend.
Anymore. No, yeah, the We Don't Talk
Love,
Anymore. I think
No,
we
Love on the
were-
Live
Weekend.
performance.
Love
Love
on
on
the
the
Weekend, you can.
performances.
Yeah,
We have a
HFS.
short cameo there.
HFS
Yeah,
whole
the
HFS
whole video
performance.
that we have
Yeah.
posted on YouTube has been shot by Parth and Sarthak.
Yes.
So
And not just
also
that, many things more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, many
yeah,
more things.
Yeah.
these two literally have come to each and every band concert or the performance
Yep.
that we've been a part
Yes,
of.
and the thing is, we remember these things. I think you guys maybe think that we don't remember these small things, but we remember these things, and it means a lot to us. That's just, we're
Yeah,
super
definitely does.
grateful.
They've been super
Yeah.
supportive and grateful to all the kind of things that we have gone through. They've come to each and every concert of ours to help us out. Thank you for everything right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay, what do you think about the secret drummer that we have?
Oh, yeah, we didn't
Secret
address that
drummer.
question only. Well, actually, I'll take this. We have 5 secret drummers, and then according to the gig and then the genre that we're performing, we'll decide which drummer to choose. And all of them are ready. They are like begging for us to play for them.
please
But-
give us opportunity.
And and 4 of them are actually on the computer. It's okay.
Yes.
So we don't have a drummer.
Yeah, we are
That's
still
we're
still
still-
searching for a.
searching for one. I think we don't have a drummer. Let's just
Yeah,
keep
we
it
don't.
going, I guess.
We
Let's just
don't.
keep it simple.
That was
We're
like a
looking for
one hour explanation that led to nothing.
Yeah, but yeah, we're looking for one. So if you're a drummer, or if you know anyone who's a drummer and is interested in joining a band,
We'll be very happy
Um,
to audition you and.
yeah, not audition us, just check our
Yeah.
content. If you're
Yeah,
interested,
we don't want to sound cocky here, but yeah, we are not like,
Just-
really.
just
we
check
need
our
a drummer.
content. Just
Yeah.
check our content. If you like what we're doing and if you think you can add on to us, just send us a message.
And regardless, even if you are a singer, guitarist,
yeah, anything.
hit us up for collaboration. We'll be more than happy.
But especially drummer.
Especially drummer. No, drummer is like a long-term relationship.
Yeah. We do hookups.
Yeah. We've
Okay,
had
so let's
we've had ups and downs in our band lineup. Our our
quite a
primary
few
drummer
times.
who was with us for like a couple of months in 2017, Anurag. Special shout
Yeah.
out to him. He
He moved to New Zealand,
yeah
so he's been a bit out of touch or out of contact lately. But
Yeah,
still,
if
yeah,
you're
yeah,
watching
he.
this, Anurag, we miss you.
yeah bro.
Yes, yeah. Ooh, great. I
So let's
think
let's uh, jump on to another question if we can. What is Dhruv's current role in the band?
yep.
Like right now
Like just from
Okay.
music perspective or anything
in
else?
the
I
band?
think I think
I
as
think
a
it's
whole.
a quite generic question, but if you could just break it down and explain it to the.
Yeah, music wise, like we've been saying, lead singing and keyboard playing, occasional guitar playing if these guys let me. Uh, and yeah, musically that's then I usually mix the songs as well. Uh, so yeah, video editing wise, we take up video editing based on workload, and if there's a song where I'm doing most of the things, then Atharva will take up video editing, or it just depends video to video. But we all edit videos except Ganguly. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, Ganguly's getting better at tech. He's
Okay,
learning.
I think yeah, Ganguly is getting better at tech, but Ganguly handles our Twitter account.
Yeah,
That's what he does. So ensure if you're on Twitter, just hit,
yeah. Our
sort of.
Twitter handle is simplicity_4. So if you
Yep.
just search that, uh, follow us on Twitter.
Oh no,
Maybe
it is simplicity_official. It is not simplicity_4.
really.
Wow.
Yes, it is simplicity_official. Just to correct you, I think yeah, because
Okay,
we
simplicity_official. You know what we are.
yeah you
uh,
Okay.
yeah you just write simplicity official, you'll see us. Don't worry.
hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. I think we can continue with the role thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So music wise, that's the role. Sometimes edit videos, mix audio, and I mean manage the YouTube channel. I guess I don't know what else. What else can you guys think of?
I think so. I don't know if this is
In
this
audio
is
editing and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
he
said
plays
nah,
a
it's
very big part in
mastering,
mixing and mastering.
are the key roles, I guess.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
spent a
and
crap load of money on buying 5 softwares. Uh, but it'll last me for my entire life, so I'm pretty happy with that purchase. So,
yeah, I think adding on to that, we right now don't have like a band manager as sorts, but the closest thing that we have to it is Dhruv. Like it all comes naturally. Like sometimes we are out of touch, and it's always that this is always a part of being in a sort of a group that is trying to do something. You're like, okay, last time I took the initiative, is there someone else? And that sort of thought continues on, but someone has to step up and do it. And sometimes we have had low times, and that's when sort of Dhruv has kept it up. you know it's
He
like
held it together.
keeping it on track, keeping the train on track. That's a very, I don't know, it's not a definite thing, but yeah, he has
Parth,
done that. Parth is in for a band
landing in for
manager.
the band manager position.
Parth, I think we're
Yes.
good with you doing the video for now.
Yeah.
Uh, no, I'm just kidding. No, we're super thankful for you doing anything you can for us, but we're not really looking for band manager positions right now, at least.
Yeah,
we
right
don't
now
have
we're not
the
looking
we
at
just
it.
don't have the money to
Yeah, when
pay
we
a
when we
band
can
manager.
afford having a band manager, that time we will.
Yeah.
Uh, we're taking up a lot of projects which require spending money now, so um, the budget's been pretty tight,
Yep.
and we all don't earn money like full-fledgedly, uh, so we do what we can.
Yeah, would you like to answer this question? What do you prefer, playing piano or vocals?
That's an interesting question.
It's a
Yeah,
very
Tough
interesting
one.
question.
very
uh,
close one. Yeah.
Competitive question.
Yep.
um, I can't answer that question, man. Like I, that's like asking, do you like your girlfriend or your mom?
Girlfriend or your mom? I think that's an easy answer. That's not that close. I think it's like
That's an easy answer for some people.
I think like wife or mom is a better
Yeah, why?
comparison.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
not
That's what I
that.
meant. That's what I
Yeah,
meant. That's what I meant.
that's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant.
So,
Yeah.
what do you think? What is the first thing that comes in your mind when we ask you piano or vocals?
I I would be more inclined towards vocals because I've been yeah I would be more inclined towards vocals because just because of the fact that I've been doing it for so long. Uh,
Right.
but yeah, I love
Yeah,
both
and
equally.
and if you're lost on an island, you can sing. You can't play a keyboard, right?
Built-in instrument.
I think that's the best thing of
Yeah.
vocals, right? You can.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great.
So, what are the other things that have
GG,
been written in chat?
GG, you're getting emo.
GG, classic
getting
GG
emo.
getting emo. That's true. That's true.
Well, this is like a trial version of it. You should see him when we do this.
Light GG light.
GG Light. Whatever you see on these vlogcasts is GG Light.
GG Light.
This is not the paid version.
You'll have to pay to see the paid thing. Oh yeah, guys, keep the questions coming.
Yeah,
We are looking
love-
for them.
Awesome
Into
questions, man.
work for free. Okay.
We'll have conversations about
We'll
that.
get in touch. We'll get in touch with you.
Yep.
Sure thing.
We love the word free. We love whenever someone says free, we're into it already.
Yeah. That has costed us sometimes, but
Yeah.
I guess that's the part of the journey. Yeah.
Okay. So, does Saurav has any question for Dhruv? Like, do you
Yeah,
want to
man.
ask anything
You've been
personally or
silent.
something?
Yes, I would
Or maybe for the
continue
band.
with another question here. Yeah, so Dhruv's songwriting, like how does he write songs, and like what are the first thoughts that come to your mind when you are like trying to write a song? Or is it lyrics? Is it
How do you approach
melody?
songwriting? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I 99% of the times I usually write the music first and then the lyrics. I because just the way I guess my brain functions is like I think of the music and the feeling first, and then I want to associate words with that feeling. Because I'm not a lyricist, I'm a songwriter, so it makes more sense, at least in my perspective, to have the music first and then associate words with words to that music. Um, so it's usually like a piano riff or like a chorus line or um, just an outline of a song of like sections in that song. Um,
right.
and usually when I write songs in sections. So like I don't know how many of you guys who are watching are familiar with this, where usually songs have like A B sections, C sections, and then different sections based on how many choruses there are, verses there are, bridge there is, um, outros, intros. I usually think of songs in terms of sections, um, so that songwriting becomes more organized, I guess. And whenever I record new songs, like whenever I write new songs, it usually starts from a voice memos clip, and then it goes into like a Logic file.
That's
where-
pretty much every songwriter's way towards writing a song. You first
Maybe,
have it
yeah,
in
we
your
don't
voice
know.
memos, then you take it out in the DAW, and then you.
Yeah,
kind of just
I'll be sitting in a
make your own of it.
classroom inside of a lecture. I'll get an idea. I'll run to the bathroom and record that idea and come back. So that's usually how it works. Like it's not. I don't. There's not a time when I get ideas. It's just like whenever
Yeah.
I get them, you have to record them. But otherwise, it's
Yeah,
gone.
you have to catch them. They
it's-
go pretty fast.
gone.
That's the worst thing. It's like, you've had a great dream, but you can't remember it. It's sort of Similar thing, similar experience, like when you had a great idea but you forgot to record it, and now it's gone
But
forever.
I think the
Doomed.
best songwriter in our group is Atharva though, because for me personally, it
That's
takes me.
high praise.
No, 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 no. It takes a lot of effort for me to sit down and write songs. For Atharva, it just becomes, or he just like sits down and just fleshes the whole song out just organically. Um, like I can't do that. Like I have to like think about sections. I have to think about it sonically, musically, how it's. I don't know. I maybe think too much. So I try to make sense in everything on what I'm doing, but I don't know. That's just me.
I think that's the beauty of it. Now, like everyone has their own
Everyone has their own
approach.
style.
Yeah.
How much time goes into editing the videos? You spoke about the tight budget. Can you speak more about this? Very interested to know about this. If possible, do sing an old in this song. Hope you identified me.
Of course, I identified you,
Okay.
Rohan. Um,
So we'll
how
address
much?
one statement of question at a time. So Dhruv, please tell us how much time does it go into editing a video?
Depends. If it's like a Skype collaboration video, that takes a while, because not from an editing perspective, just the whole video production process, because so many different stakeholders are involved, so many different people are involved in the project. Um, Logistically, it becomes much harder to uh, contact everyone, reach out to everyone, follow up, make sure their video is in, make sure it's in the right format and it's a good quality video, audio is good. There are too many aspects to it, but usually a cover video, I would say, takes a couple of hours to edit max. Uh, I don't know
It's
about
just the
Atharva.
video editing part of it.
Yes.
Just to make it clear,
Yes.
just the video editing part of it. So you have everything ready, you have the music,
Yeah.
you have the videos, and you just edit that. The whole production part takes a while.
Probably like
And
a couple of days, I would say.
yeah,
Uh,
once the song is set,
yeah.
obviously. So yeah, I mean, we would like to say it's a creative field, so it's flexible, but just to give it like a very rough thing, as we have our schedule right now, we drop a cover or some sort of content a week. I think 1 week to produce like a proper cover of a song. I think that's sort of a, like, from scratch till the final video. I think that's a good time, right? 1 week
Mhm.
is required for the whole thing, and
Yeah.
that's our timeline. So if you can see, like, we're pretty tight on that. Every week we do push
Yeah, the
something out.
reason we are able to do these live streams is because it's their live streams. We don't have to edit videos. Uh,
Yeah.
Otherwise, like if there were two videos, that would have been kind of hectic. Plus, we have other stuff that we're doing in our life as well. Uh, um,
Yeah.
as much as we hate to talk about it like that, this is still our side hustle. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's how it is.
I don't know how good this analogy will be, but well, let's just push it out there. It's like a girlfriend that you're not getting the permission from your parents to marry just yet.
Mm, eh, eh.
That's
I don't know.
okay.
Okay.
I would not try and comment on it.
Try and
Okay,
comment
so
on it.
also okay, what about the budget? We have a tight budget, right? So Rohan is asking, would you like to throw some light on it?
Yeah. So I mean, we don't like to talk about money that much, but I in my life right now, I am earning some amount of money that I can dedicate to uh, investing in the band, and I feel okay doing that. And things like buying softwares uh, is worth it to me personally because it improves the workflow, saves time.
Softwares
Uh,
are pretty expensive actually, yeah, but
yeah,
they are worth buying.
it improves the workflow, saves time. It's worth the money. It's worth the value because it'll last you your entire life. And yeah, I just think rather than spending on some random bullshit um, like clothes or something that's like, I don't know, irrelevant in my perspective. I'd rather spend more money on tech and equipment that will help me facilitate
Right.
the workflow better.
Speaking about tech, so Dhruv, what about upgrading your tech? What do you feel about that? Do you want to throw some light on it?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about buying a new laptop uh, because I want a new laptop.
Wow, that was a
Anticlimax. Uh,
yep.
but no, I really need more
Yeah,
processing
but
power.
I think it is very important to also have
Yeah, I
a
mean,
good
eh,
software
that's
or a machine to work on. It has to be something that connects with you
And
on an
not just for
interface
that,
level.
I am studying cybersecurity. I need more processing power for that, more RAM for that, uh, to run like virtual machines.
yeah, but overall, as a field, music, you don't think that you'll require so much of processing power, but that's not true.
You
Um,
do
you
actually.
do actually. Once you start getting into projects, heavier projects, heavier things, and if you're doing YouTube, you'll require it for video editing and stuff. So that's a myth, that you don't need processing power if you're doing music. So yeah, you do need that. So tech, I think that's an interesting topic, right? Tech has sort of influenced everything for its convenience, and music is one of it. Like, you can't, such simple concepts like MIDI, you know
Yeah.
uh, what do you guys think? Like, tech as an aspect of life, tech as an aspect of music, how much does it intervene? Then you have stuff like auto tune or
Uh,
correction and
I
stuff.
think I would say it is useful but not essential.
Hmm.
Uh, it it for every tech related thing, I would say it's useful but not essential. Like, because
Yeah, okay.
as musicians, as core musicians, you have your music, which is what drives everything, and tech is just sort of like an assistance to that, makes it easier.
Yeah, some artists even use autotune as an instrument and not because like
Right.
they cannot sing properly or
Also,
stuff like that. Yeah,
yeah, like
so
when
that's
you
how it can.
these the Beatles, this is a historic example. They did not have monitors to listen to their own instruments, but they still were the biggest band in the world back then. And they used to produce and make some really, really awesome stuff. And they used to play all those music live without any monitors. And trust me, guys, monitors are really, really important to understand or to at least listen to what you are playing. Because if you can't listen to what you're playing in such a loud environment, uh, things can go haywire in a moment of seconds. So it's pretty important. But they still, as Dhruv said, they are not essential because people have proved it in the past that things may be useful, but they might not be of essential to you. So yeah, so that is
I
a good
think
example.
I think it's important to not get attached with tech that much. If you get attached with tech too much, your dependency on tech becomes higher, and I don't think you should be that dependent on tech.
And that brings an interesting point. Like Dosi said, that some people use auto tune as an instrument, which is essentially tech, right? So, like, it's a possibility that one can exploit to create great music.
Yeah,
Obviously, the art of creating music is something that he'll have without auto tune, but then to produce the music, he becomes dependent on that.
And again, that brings up
So,
a topic of accessibility. Like for people who can't, let's say, sing, or they can't, the
yeah.
people who don't have a voice, uh, they can express themselves in ways that weren't available in the past. So that's it's like their voice, almost.
mm,
Also, I think that
Yeah.
I think it deteriorates the organic style of you playing an instrument or rather singing because you start being dependent on these all these tech and softwares that you lose your own command on the music that you had yourself, like something that was organic to you now is not that organic because you have started depending on these techs. So like you just maybe stop practicing, or you think that even these techs will help me get the job done, then why should I just
I just think it is a tool, just like everything
Yeah,
else in
exactly.
music.
That's what I was going to say.
Uh,
Yeah, I
Even
mean,
To
your guitar,
express your music.
it's a
guitar,
tech only. Yeah.
yeah, guitar, electric stuff, electronic stuff, acoustic stuff, all that is tech. Um, and that is a tool. Just because a tool exists doesn't mean that it's going to be good or it's going to
Yeah.
be bad. It's how you use the tool that matters. So how you use tech matters in music production. How you use acoustics matter in tech music production, rather than, oh, acoustic sounds better than electronic, or that's, it's not
right,
like a binary sort of argument, I'd say.
right.
Yeah.
So let's jump on to a question that we have received on the chat from Aditya. He's asking, what is your mic setup to record these
Ha,
crisp and clear audio? Do you use Macs?
Crisp audio.
Do you use Mac or PC?
Max all the way. I am married to Max. I'm married to Apple. I am an Apple sheep, as they call. Uh, but I'm fine with people calling me that because I see the benefits, and the benefits outweigh the the criticism. So, um, for
Even Atharva would like to add to it, because I
I
think
think,
Atharva is a more Apple inclined guy.
I mean, people will call you things for it, but well, the convenience that it brings, that's for you to enjoy. So, and yeah, for specifically for music, I think Dhruv will tell you why
Yeah, production wise,
it's
Macs are way
simple.
better than Windows,
yep.
for sure.
Mac versus PC, we can talk about this for hours, but we want to talk more about music.
Uh,
With
Right.
the mic setup, I use Audio Technica 2020 USB microphone. It's a condenser. It's a USB condenser. Uh, Thanks to Stuart, he very graciously gave me that microphone because he doesn't use it anymore. Um, but yeah, again, I think it's about how you use the mic rather than the mic itself. Um, because
Right.
if you listen to the Trouble in Town cover on YouTube, that was, the vocals on that were recorded on a dynamic mic, and to get that much output gain from a dynamic mic, it's kind of not possible, I would say. But it's again about how you use that mic. It's more important than the mic itself. So the Under the Bridge cover, that has been the vocals on that has been recorded on a laptop microphone. uh,
yeah. So yeah, it's how you use the equipment. But again, like it's both sides of the coin. It's just it sounds good. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I
Dhruv,
guess.
what are your personal future goals? So, what do you think you'll be in a few years from now?
well, we need money to survive, money to live. uh, so I mean, there has to be one source of income, I guess, whether that's music or something else. It, there has to be at least one constant source of income. But eventually, I would like to see myself doing music completely. I think it's for the rest of you guys as well. So
That's I think sort of the state of mind of everyone.
yeah,
We
Yeah,
want to do music, but we need money. If music provides us that much money, we are
yeah, of
musicians full
course. Yeah,
time.
we are happy to continue with that.
And if it doesn't, we still are musicians, but part time. So yeah, I mean,
It's like,
to survive. Yeah, and it's been a fun journey being part time so far, right?
yeah,
And
it's for some reason, like I don't like people calling it part time, because it's
yeah,
it's not really part time. It's like half of the day almost for me. I don't know for rest of you guys, but it's almost half of the day. One half of the day I
yeah,
spend doing like work, and then the rest of the day I spend time on music. So
that's true.
I think that is pretty much the story for all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, just saying part time because we can't call it full time.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm just saying like that. It's kind of weird
Yeah.
saying it like that because I spent
Yeah.
so much time on it. I don't feel like we should call it part time.
That's the. Yeah, I mean, so that's what we, I guess, all of us.
Yeah.
I
So
guess
Dhruv, tell us about your transition from Indian classical to Western classical. Like, not Western classical, rather, just Western music. You getting into the Western music scene from an Indian classical background.
Like what aspect of it? Like I think I've talked about this a little bit before.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think that has been answered earlier. I think yeah, like so you learned classical Indian classical music, right? And once you shifted to the states,
Hmm.
you also started learning Western classical. And
Not
what
Western
was
classical
your
as such.
perspective? Yeah, but like, so what was your perspective on sort of these two cores and like the history of music there, the culture of music there versus what we have here in India?
yeah, what are the differences that you see between
Uh,
these two cultures?
um, that's like a whole big section, I would say. um, I think
Like a brief
yeah.
Yeah, if you
on
could
your
Uh,
just give us
perspective
some
on it.
insight on it.
from the 3 years that I've been living here, from playing music here, playing gigs with a band here, I see differences and I see similarities a lot. And the differences are that so just from like a music business sort of perspective, um, I have observed here that you can be a mid-tier musician and not have a job and still make a living out of it. That's one thing that I've realized. That's again from a music business perspective. Um, um, in India, it's much harder to do it like that from economic reasons or whatever the reason might be. It's changing, obviously, but still, that's what I observed here. That you can make a living completely out of music, just being like a mid-tier, mid-level musician. Um, the second thing is that musically, there's a lot of differences and similarities. Like I said, in Indian classical music, the closest I found to Indian classical music is jazz, because most of jazz is improvisations. And when people think about improvisations, it's usually like having a set structure and then improvising on that structure. It's usually like that. And even in Indian classical music, it's like that. We have ragas, and ragas are one set of notes, and you're only allowed to uh, use those set of notes. uh, in jazz, it's more free flowing, but it's the same principle. They have what they call as jazz modals. Modals are essentially like scales. They have like 100 million different kind of modals, and you can use multiple modals in the same song. That was interesting about jazz. Jazz got me into funk, uh, which is like a modern sort of dirty version of jazz, where you mix jazz and modern elements like electronic music, synthesizers, and synthesized basses, bass sounds, and it's a whole another branch of music. Um, so I got into that kind of music. Uh, Luckily, so I don't know if the rest of you guys know. I play in a band here as well. It's called Ross Hollow. These guys play Americana, folk, country, blues, music. And the bassist in that band actually introduced me to jazz. One of the best bassists I ever played with, honestly. And he is like a jazz prodigy. He's like my age, but he's like a prodigy in jazz and funk. Uh, so I got to learn a lot about jazz and funk from him. Uh, those are the kind of the similarities I saw overlap between Indian and Western music, but so many differences. Like musically, so many differences. Um, Indian music is more melodic. Western music is more harmonic. I think everyone knows that. Uh, like as just an example, like usually in Indian music, I would say you have uh, you let's say you're playing in the key of A. Uh, that A will be constant throughout the song, and there'll be like movements on top of A. Uh, Unlike that, in Western forms of music, it's more like you have A as a key, and then you shift around the bass as well. So you go to D, you go to E, E flat, you go to different notes on the root as well, uh, and add more colors on top of that. That's the general idea of harmony. It's adding colors to melody. It's a very overlapping sort of concept because I mean I can talk about this for hours, but even with melody, even if you play one note, there's overtones and undertones. So when you play one note, there's a series of overtones on top of that and a series of undertones below that. And you can kind of think of it in terms of like a plant where the undertones are the roots and the overtones are the tree, uh, and the ground is like that, the one note. So even in melody there is harmony because of the overtones. It's kind of like an overlapping concept to think of, but it's more explicit in Western forms of music where you mix around notes to create more colorful sounds. uh, I respect both forms of music equally, but I can see the overlap and I can see the differences as well. But yeah, I can talk about this more, but I mean I'm not going to go more deep into that.
So, asking you guys, do you have any more questions for us? If you do, then please hit us up on the
Yeah, I
chat.
think. Yep.
Because I think yeah, we'll wait for you guys.
Yeah.
So just write us up anything that you feel like asking us.
Yeah, we've loved the question so far. uh,
Yeah, it's been interesting questions today.
uh, la- there's no awkward questions today for some reason.
Yeah, which is, I
Why?
guess,
Why?
you guys are not taking the advantage when you have it.
Yeah, man, it's like an open field.
And Dosi has dropped us again. He's having a hard time today.
Busy guy.
Not really busy.
What do you
Internet is
guys think
having
though?
a-
Like, what's your perspective on this? Like differences between Indian and Western music
like
from an
haven't
Indian
really
perspective.
haven't really explored
What
learning.
from what I know, like what I feel is we are a lot stereotypical of the fact that Indian music is superior
I
than
think
all
it's
the
the
other
other way
music,
around.
which is no. If you just go inside into the dig deeper into the rural areas and
No,
all
what
other
I'm
things.
saying is like there is a general sense of Western superiority and Indian inferiority.
Yeah,
It's a
No,
general
that
sense.
is a general sense, but when it
yeah,
comes to music, I think people are like they prioritize Indian music over the Western music. That it is something that I have seen in my like personal journey. But I think it is a very much wrong notion because they haven't heard that much about Western music. Like if you have heard both side of the coin, and then you try and put forth an opinion of yourself, then I think that would be a valid gesture. But till the time you haven't heard anything about it and you just try and gibber about
yeah. I mean,
superior to it,
many people
I
are
think
like,
it's
okay,
wrong.
I like rock. I'm loyal to rock. I listen to rock, and
That is completely fine. You can be
you
loyal to
can be
rock and
that, but if you can't say that, okay, our classical music is old, yeah, for traditional, it doesn't vibe anymore. I mean, if you haven't listened, like heard those songs, you might not be vibing to with them, but to say that it's um what can I say, it's inferior to some other music form is incorrect.
Yeah. Again,
That's,
that goes back to the purist point that like
yeah,
people tend to be purist in terms of
I
what
think
they like and
all of us were purists at some point
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah,
the other,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
we've
yeah.
grown.
Even
and
I was.
yeah,
I'm saying even I was a couple of
yeah.
years ago.
Everyone was,
So
even I
I
was,
think
even
I think
Atharva
it
was.
you can be loyal, but not purist probably.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
you
just
can.
that don't disrespect any other form of music.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
like you
mean,
saying you only like eating uh, I don't know, chicken tikka. That doesn't make rest of the chicken dishes bad, you know.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's pretty right.
and like,
So I think people are like, I think we don't have
That's
any
it.
more questions from our audience.
yeah. If you guys have any final questions before we doze off, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll hang out for around 5-10 more minutes to see if there's any questions. Um, but yeah, we've
Avinav doesn't notice that we can still see him in the mirror.
Ganguly.
Sorry, I had to just.
Yeah. Yeah, I think let's talk a little bit more about like as we are closing. Oh no, we have one more question.
Oh, that's such an interesting
Oh, that is
question,
a very, very right.
dude. Freaking
Yeah.
interesting question, dude. Okay, we've got a couple of questions. Okay, let's answer the first one. Okay,
Yeah.
please bear with my knee. I'm wearing shorts. I'm not. I'm wearing shorts. Don't worry.
That's pretty irrelevant to.
No, people think
our-
all sorts of things. So, what do people think in USA about Indian music? Went to Ireland last year for masters. Saw that people haven't heard. Yes, that's very, very, very true. And especially people in the USA. I mean, no offense to anyone, but people in the USA are much more stereotypical about Indian music than I thought they would be. Uh, I was heavily involved in the music scene in the city that I live in. So I talked with musicians, and musicians respect everyone. Okay, musicians are super nice people. They respect all forms of music equally. But when it comes to the audience, it kind of gets in that gray area where
Right.
they don't know what to expect really.
Like as John Lennon used to say, like you put musicians in the room and they would vibe with themselves. They'll just enjoy the time listening and performing music. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's the other side of
The
the
other
coin, the
side.
audience that
I played like Indian classical music with one of my friends, Krishna. He plays the kanjira. I don't know if you've heard of that instrument. It's like it looks like a tambourine, but it has like a um, some animal skin on that. It sounds like pum 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 pum. This is something like that. It's
You guys have a channel, right?
yeah. We're called
Within the
Akam.
summer.
Akam
Um,
official. You can check it out. I play music with him, and I played at an open mic here. And the thing with open mics is there's usually musicians at open mic. You know, there's no audience as such. It's only like 60 different musicians coming and playing for like 5 minutes. Okay, uh, so playing at an open mic was interesting because you play for musicians, and seeing the interest in musicians was very reassuring that people still like Indian music regardless of where they're from, and how I saw like the universality of music in general. Um, but with the audience, it kind of becomes interesting. Like some people don't like it, some people do, but again, this goes back to the fact where you can't degrade another form of music just because you don't like it, and that
Right.
goes for musicians and the audience as well. Uh,
but yeah,
so
right.
yeah, that's my perspective on that.
I think every musician
the
thinks the
second
same thing.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next question is, so as a beginner, I'm interested in performing and singing. I'm not that interested in classical, but I also like it in some way. So if I learn it, will it help me to improve my sur? So I think the vocalist should
Huh.
take his part and answer
It's
this.
an interesting question. Um, need to think about it for a while. Mm, I think as someone who's starting out, just try everything. You won't know if you like something until you try it. Uh, so okay, he's said the same thing. Yeah, you won't know if you like something unless you try it. So don't go in with the expectation of oh, this will help me get somewhere else. I don't think that's a good approach to anything in life.
Yeah, just try it. See if you like it or not.
Yeah, just try it. If you don't feel it, you don't have to do it. Just
You can pivot.
yeah, just but don't degrade any other forms of music just because you don't like them. That's my general advice, and that's my perspective, honestly.
Saurav is back at the end
he's
time. I
back?
think he's back.
Oh, he's back.
So we can.
Sorry for the
Yeah, that's fine. So I think this is the right time to close our live session.
yeah.
So if Dhruv could help and end the session because today was his VlogCast, so it would be a very good gesture.
Yeah, this I like this series. We've been reflecting on ourselves and the band history the last 7 years, and things like this help us stay together. We talk about this kind of stuff when we're video chatting anyway. This is just us blabbering about this stuff live in front of all you guys. Um, so this is anyway organic to us. We're just doing it in front of you guys, and we love questions like these. That's why we come live, so that we can have that connection regardless of where we're physically from.
Yeah.
So, and I think everyone would agree with that.
Yes.
But
Completely.
that was the general intent of doing these sort of starting this vlogcast series, where we would get to reflect on ourselves and get to interact with the audience on what they think about us, and if they have any questions about the band, for personal advice or anything like that. Next week it's
Right.
going to be Ganguly's introduction, and the week after that it's going to be really special. The week after that,
Yeah.
but we're not going to say much about that. But the week after that, I think 1st August is going to be our first guest on the podcast. So yeah, we're
It's
going to
interesting.
invite other people on our podcast. Try to see what advice they have for us. Try to see what
VlogCast.
vlogcast. Sorry,
Correct.
vlogcast. Yeah,
Yeah, and one more thing, just to sort of put it out there. If you guys have logged in live late, joined us late, don't worry. Give us till tomorrow. We'll put all the timestamps so you can just skim through everything. We do that for every vlogcast video. We know like 1.5 hours is a lot of time to expect from anyone.
Yeah,
Sit-
putting timestamps
sitting-
would be
Sitting and hearing to
much
everything.
more
So we
easier
just
to the people to
we just put the time.
skim through it.
Yeah. Thanks for completing my sentence.
yeah, we'll
Yeah, I guess let's wind up with
yeah
Cool.
we'll
It's been a great day.
we'll get
Yeah.
get the timestamps by tomorrow to everyone. Listen to it while you're cooking food, folding clothes, cleaning
Just
dishes.
doing all other domestic chores.
Yeah, just while you're doing chores. Just keep it on. Listen to our stories. Listen to us blabbering about life, and hope you guys
Keep
take
up the
care.
support.
Yeah, keep supporting us. This has been a
Thank you for being such a supportive audience.
couldn't be more grateful.
Cool.
Forever grateful.
We'll see you guys live
So-
next Saturday.
Bye bye.
sure.
Signing off.
Bye.
Signing off.
Sayonara.